Hi, everyone. This is Jeff Praissman with Interactive Brokers Podcast. It's my pleasure to welcome to the podcast studio Scott Bauer, Prosper Trading Academy. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Jeff, I am great. How are you?
I'm good and love having you come in every other week for our quick market rundowns. And, for our audience, we go through the past week in the market and then kind of look ahead a little bit as well. Scott, a lot of activity, right, in the market. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, what were some of the biggest drivers of the market performance over the past week? And, in general, how did equities react across different sectors?
I mean, we certainly have to, go to Iran, right? Geopolitics and what may be happening at the end of this week. And the market certainly, took that as very positive news. Oil prices, I guess we could probably use the adjective maybe plummeting, or maybe that's a verb, but I think the oil price reaction certainly helped the markets, especially the Dow. And,
Right.
now that earnings season is over, I think that is squarely the focus for the markets right now.
Yeah, and I imagine there's kind of like a, flow through effect. If, oil becomes low, then helps out the consumers and it may help out some other sectors as well, like retail
That's
and
how
anything
it's
else like
supposed to
that.
work.
Yep.
Exactly.
Every time we talk, there's obviously economic releases like every day at this point. So what were some of the key ones that had an effect on the market, last week? And what did, kind of signal about the health of the economy did they show?
Well, it's so interesting because, CPI and PPI still show that inflation is absolutely a problem, yet the market kind of shrugged it off. Eco data across the board really continues to be fairly strong. So, I think the market is somewhat grappling with the inflation data, but balanced off by, okay, things are calming down overseas. Things are looking good. Obviously, we
Mm.
have big Fed announcement, but for me, it's the CPI and PPI last week, and then I know we're gonna bring this up here momentarily, but next week we get some more inflation data.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously the second part of that question is, what's coming up a week, next week, right? What do we just get
Exactly.
through and find out and what should they traders be paying attention to next week?
So we get FOMC now, but then really, looking to next week, we get PCE. So that is going to be huge. PCE and GDP. Is PCE going to show the same thing that CPI and PPI showed? Is it going to just, give us kind of a clear path? And we'll see what the reaction is, especially after Fed announcement that we get later today.
Gotcha. And, we're gonna go to your favorite subject, the VIX. We saw
Yes.
volatility pull back, last week. I think it was trading around 16 or so, kind of hovering in that area. So what does that tell us about the investor sentiment and kind of their positioning right now?
Absolutely, that the more macro environment, people are, I don't wanna say complacent, because a VIX at 16 is really not complacent, but they're, I'd say, more at ease. If we saw the VIX down at, low teens, then we talk about complacency. But I think that, both the retail side and institutional side are looking at things and saying that, you know what? There still could really be some upside here, but we're willing to, with a VIX right in that, mid-teen range there, we're willing to still buy some protection.
Got it. So kind of hedging the bets a little bit, but feeling a little optimistic as well.
Exactly.
And, finally, what are markets currently pricing in for these upcoming events? And where do you think we could see some surprises come out?
There is so much upside call buying in the indices, Jeff, as
Mhm.
you know, that, whether it's coming from the retail side or institutional side, there is so much optimism here. So what could derail this? Obviously, if we get to Friday and the, memo of understanding or agreement that we have, if something falls apart, that could probably hit the markets a little bit. If Warsh and the FOMC kind of say something that the market is not expecting, we could see, some problems there as well. But right now, I don't want to say it's all systems go for the marketplace, but with everything the market has come up against, boy, is it responded resiliently. The one thing I've really been focused on is, even with the pressure now that the Fed is more than likely going to raise rates, the
Mhm.
market is certainly comfortable with the 10-year sitting right around, what, 440, 442 or so.
Scott, as always, this has been great for our listeners. You can find more from Scott at prospertrading.com, as well as on our website, interactivebrokers.com. Click on education, find past podcasts, webinars, articles, everything from, Scott and Prosper Trading Academy. Scott, once again, thank you for swinging by the studio and looking forward to our next chat.
Me too. Thanks so much, Jeff.
The analysis in this material is provided for information only and is not and should not be construed as an offer to sell or the solicitation of an offer to buy any security. To the extent that this material discusses general market activity, industry, or sector trends, or other broad-based economic or political conditions, it should not be construed as research or investment advice. To the extent that it includes references to specific securities, commodities, currencies, or other instruments, those references do not constitute a recommendation by IBKR to buy, sell, or hold such investments. This material does not and is not intended to take into account the particular financial conditions, investment objectives, or requirements of individual customers. Before acting on this material, you should consider whether it is suitable for your particular circumstances and, as necessary, seek professional advice. Options involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. For information on the uses and risks of options, you can obtain a copy of the Options Clearing Corporation Risk Disclosure document titled Characteristics and Risks of Standardized Options by going to the following link: ibkr.com/OCC. Multiple leg strategies, including spreads, will incur multiple transaction costs.